Tell me more about what it is that you do with the Multifamily Geeks and how is it that your group operates?
We are what we call a multifamily syndicator. We syndicate multifamily properties. We partner with investors who are regular people, maybe even like yourself or anybody viewing this, to help them achieve freedom in their lives. And that could be, we look at freedom in our lives as anything ranging from what an individual might consider that to be for themselves, like maybe freedom of time, definitely freedom of money, freedom of relationships, etc.
So I've worked adjacent to real estate and the mortgage world for most of the last decade. And until I started working on these projects with you, I'd never heard of the concept of syndicating multifamily properties. Help me understand what that concept is and what that looks like.
So there were some changes about 10 years ago now, 10, 15-ish years ago with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which allowed individuals to privately place investments with private investors. So a syndication, simply put, is the pooling of private investor money to buy an asset. And in this case, we're talking about multifamily properties. We improve it, we sell it, we pay back the principal and returns to the investors. And so, just like I mentioned, what this has allowed to do is allow investors now are regular people, like a lot of us. So instead of just being focused on, say, the stock market, for example, regular investors, regular people can put their money into something like a multifamily property in our case and earn a return.
Help me understand why it would be multifamily properties as opposed to, say, commercial properties or something like that.
So this is true. The syndication structure can be applied to any asset class, the pooling of private investor money to buy that asset as an investment, right? What makes multifamily unique and really interesting to us are several of the sort of combining factors that make it very unique. We say things like a truly passive investment, which is, we hear about a lot. Passive investment meant you put your money into something and all of a sudden find out you're ending up running it, right? Or jumping in and saving it. The syndication process for multifamily allows you to have two asset classes, a controlling general partner class that the experts like ourselves, we've done 9 of these syndications so far, full circle. We know how to buy a property. We know how to run the property. We know what to do in asset management. We know how to hire the right property managers. We know how to fix it up. We know how to sell it, right? So that's the operating class. The investor class becomes a limited partner group, and they become able to just invest in the property and sit there and reap the rewards without knowing all the integral details of running the property. So that's one issue. Another thing is tax savings. Multifamily has a very interesting structure that allows a process called cost segregation to be used, which is, practically speaking, it's an acceleration of depreciation, which allows potentially, depending on if it's passive income or active, right? Depends on your tax status, and that's a issue with the investor and their tax advisor. But it provides the opportunity to depreciate the property and then write that off from taxes, saving additional money, not just the returns on the property, but even magnifying returns because of the tax savings. And then there's unique leverage opportunities, these things we call non-recourse loans, which allows properties to be purchased again and again and again based upon as the sponsor of the property, our experience and our liquidity and our net worth can be applied to property after property after property. That's a unique feature of the asset class. And then, the non-expert status of the investor is a great thing where they can, just come along for the ride. It still provides a physical asset. We can fly to the building with 200 to 300 units in it. We can kick the tires, so to speak, find the physical building. It's not going anywhere. A lot of great aspects for investors to be more secure and to lower the risk level of it. And then just the idea of diversifying from traditional investment vehicles like stocks. We have so little control over the stock market and what goes on with that and that whole environment, where now it's a smaller, more controllable environment that we understand, we know what we're doing. We can do specific tasks to raise the value of the property and therefore sell it at the return we're projecting and pay that to our investors. Oh, and one last thing about multifamily. We say it all the time, and I don't think it's even said enough, is everybody needs a place to sleep. Every single one of us is is buying back into our place to sleep every night, and every renter in the nation is paying that money every single night to sleep in that apartment. And it's an amazing asset to be a part of in terms of investment.